Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I am really excited to record today's episode. I woke up this morning, honestly, with a bit of a fire under my ass. I'm really excited. I was on a group call in a mastermind last night, and I was just thinking of all these things going to bed and visualizing what it is that I want to create, what it is that I want to share. And this episode is coming like hot off the press. I am recording it and publishing it. It not that early in the morning, but you are the first people that I speak to. I have been like up brainstorming, writing things down, but I feel as though my vocals are just like coming out for the day because I haven't really spoken to anyone yet today. So we are really excited about today's episode. I'm going to give you a little bit of an update on what I've been doing. Now, obviously, last week, January 1st, was the kickoff to 2025, and we're here for it. 2025 just feels like a really, really good year. I dove deep into how we are approaching setting goals in 2025 and how we're approaching this year differently. And I've been all over the place, to be honest. I've been all over Florida in the past month. We are still here. I'm back in my little nook in my library that I am recording in. But over the last few weeks, we fortunately, as already explained, had both of our families actually come down to Florida, but they were on different coasts. And we also brought them together at one point. So there's been a lot of travel. There's been a lot of back and forth. There's been a lot of activity. And I swear, honestly, just up until like 2 nights ago, we still had like festivities and dinners going on. So I'm really looking forward to get into some structure and into some routines. And it was actually a really nice break in the sense of I had an intention throughout the holidays to just create from a place of having fun. I've been making really playful and fun content. I've also really now started to enjoy doing video on this podcast. Remember when I told you when I first started? Now I really enjoy it. I feel like I can't imagine doing it without video because I'm very, very expressive. So I'm really enjoying that piece. And over the course of the holiday, I just wanted to have fun, didn't really have any type of timeline to anything. And I just noticed that a lot of creative downloads actually come when I am having fun, when I am being joyful, when I'm doing what I love, not when I'm putting pressure on myself, not when I'm like, I need to decide this, make this decision by this date. I need to have this done by yesterday. Instead, I'm just allowing myself to have fun and enjoy myself. Often when I am in a state of ease, in a state of relaxation, things start coming in. This is why most people say that a lot of ideas come to them and realizations and different downloads come to them when they're in the shower. It's because you have some sense of detachment from what it is that you were doing and you're able to actually think clearly and just enjoy the hot water coming down on your body, right? So that is what I really allowed over the course of the holidays. And here I am. I was on a kickoff to a mastermind that I'm a part of as of last night. And it was interesting. We were to fill out these documents going into the mastermind. And this is something, of course, being really type A go-getter, an overachiever, a high achiever, all of those things, I would have those filled out a week in advance, send them off to my mentor or coach and be like, yeah, give me all the things, give me the to-do list, give me what I need to check off to crush, because taking action is not something that is difficult for me. I can do it in my sleep. Really, I love taking action. But this is really funny. This is a really interesting realization that I've had over the course of this particular holiday. My birthday on my actual day, December 16th, on the Monday, Christmas Day, and Christmas Eve, and New Year's, I felt, no joke, the calmest I have ever felt on those actual annual holidays. And in the past, when I say calm, like I would be excited in the past, right? Like excited, but oftentimes like really nervous, usually like a bit dysregulated, a little bit chaotic. Not that that would necessarily translate to other people. They would just be like, oh, Bree's excited, very much enjoying the festivities. And I did this year, but I enjoyed them so much deeper from a very calm, regulated place. I was telling my partner this, like, I've never felt so calm. Like during the countdown, I'm not joking. Usually I would be so nervous. Like my stomach would be in knots. I'd feel all this pressure. I'd feel all this amp. I need to be positioned a certain way, like really ridiculous. If this doesn't resonate with you, you can just like laugh at me. But this is honestly how I used to feel. But this year, I just felt so at ease, so at ease. And after the countdown, I'm just like, yeah, I'm good to kind of wrap this night up and like get a good night's sleep under our belt. We did hang out and socialize for another hour and a half, to be honest. I didn't get to bed till like past 1:30, but I woke up not hungover on January 1st. That's a new one for me. That felt really good. I just felt like I really approached this holiday, although extremely chaotic, a lot going on, very differently, very, very differently. So going back to entering this mastermind, there were documents that were required to submit prior. Now, I have worked with this mentor previously in a one-on-one capacity, so we know each other very, very well. And I sent them to her literally yesterday, a few hours before the call, being like, I didn't fill out this one section because I'm not quite sure how I want to execute this or what exactly I want to do. And I sent it off and just again felt so calm. I just felt like I don't have the answers right now. This isn't life or death, me completing this document for me to start this mastermind with you. Yes, I love it when students and clients of mine, when I send them like prerequisite work for them to complete. But the thing is, in this case, I know she knows me. I know she knows that I'm extremely resourceful. I'm accountable. I will show up. I will bring the energy and I will do the work. But I wasn't about to put pressure on myself to have these decisions made going into this as this like document outlined. And I literally messaged her saying that. And then we had a call. I went to sleep. I woke up literally flooded with ideas that I'm really excited about, because I just gave myself space, permission, and didn't put myself in a place where I just felt like I was in a pressure cooker that I needed to get this done. So that kind of leads me to this next point, is one of these many ideas. I think I took like 2 hours before recording this and mapped out what it is that I want to create and put out into the universe in the year of 2025. And I think I might move forward with creating a very like micro mini course, not like CMA. CMA is like the heart of everything. It is everything that you need. It is the holy grail. It literally encompasses everything that you need to create unshakable self-trust in order to take action towards the fulfilling life that you want. It is a 10-week course. It's lengthy. It's for those that are disciplined and like ready to do the action and excited about it. And I have everything in there for you. But maybe as like something, if you just want to get a taste of my work and what it's like to kind of be in my hemisphere, in my realm, and also something that you might just need as like a one-off right now, or something that you might need as a stepping stone to CMA, is specifically like a nervous system regulation reset course. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I just wanted to reference the examples that I just shared. Okay, the examples of how I felt over the past holiday, even though it was absolute chaos and I was all over the place. I wasn't stationary at all, so out of routine. And also submitting these documents to my mentor last night. I am now just in a place where I wholeheartedly understand how we work as human beings. There is a lot of science, not saying I'm a doc, but like there is a lot of science behind how I now understand and am equipped to teach this. I also have been in the self-development space for 7+ years. I have multiple modalities and certifications under my belt. I was a yoga instructor and a teacher, and I've done that for adults and for kids. And I've had a group program. I've done one-on-one, and I've done different workshops. Like I understand what lands and what doesn't land. I also understand that this space now is so inundated with so much information, and everybody is over consuming and everybody is overwhelmed. And I honestly feel like the trajectory in which people are going is actually doing more harm than good. And luckily, I have done a lot of that work for you. So you actually can put aside a lot of things that you're consuming, truly. Because if I could go back, not that I would want to change anything, but these last 2 years, I feel like I truly have been to hell and back. It was like the dark night of the soul to a definition, like to a T. Okay. And if you want to hear more about that, and if you're new to the podcast and this is your first episode, go back and listen to the past episodes over the course of the year, as I was very open and transparent and vulnerable and honest about what it was that I was experiencing. And I know a lot of you listening are very high achieving people. You're high achieving. You're most likely a little bit type A to a degree. You like to get things done. You probably as default attach a lot of your worth to your productivity and your achievements, right? I know that because I am like that. And I know like attracts like. I know there's a reason why you enjoy consuming my content. So I feel like I have now simplified everything so cleanly and so streamlined that this could be really, really impactful. And I don't need to make it into this like super elaborate program, this super elaborate course. And I can make it at a very low ticket price level to make it super affordable, because I feel like this is what people need right now. People need to know that you can become the best version of you, and there is a time and a place for everything, but also to understand and learn how to use your discernment when even approaching this space. Because just like the healthcare industry, you go in, you want to rely on the doctor, you want to rely on the surgeon, the nurse, you want to trust that they have your best interests. But then you start to have different experiences, you talk to different people, you start to get older, you start to realize they are also just people. They are also just doing the best they can with the resources that they have. And it's up to you to be the biggest advocate for yourself. It is the same in the wellness space, but people, I feel like, have not realized that, and they're having a difficult time deciphering things. And if anything, it's actually doing more harm than good, because it's very much connected to the online world, which we're so fortunate and so lucky to have. Obviously, I leverage that platform to communicate what it is that I want to share with you, but I think it is overload. And I think you can cut through a lot of the noise and actually get to the root of what it is that you can do to truly be the best version of yourself, to conduct your life the way that you want to. In my nervous system reset course that I have literally in my mind, I have not built this out in the slightest. I'm just bringing this here because I think there is an honest need for it. And I can make it super small, super streamlined, super like to the point, and it could help out a lot of people. So if this resonates with you, if you could please message me and DM me like, yeah, this would be awesome. If you would like a coaching component, a live coaching component, I'm thinking of just making it a course that you could just do on your own time. It's self-paced, because obviously if I add a coaching component, that increases the price, because it is very much my time that is required. So let me know if this resonates with you. If you're like, yes, thank you, I've been looking for that. There's like a million things on my feed all the time, and I'm not understanding. And we're going to dive in a little bit now into the episode to help you also kind of decipher and understand this topic further. So when to know if it's self-help or it's self-sabotage. Okay. This is so funny, because if you spoke to me a few years ago, there's no way I would have talked on this. Like, I was like, for anyone that wasn't doing the work, I'm saying in quotation marks, for anyone that wasn't buckling down, hustling, looking at every aspects of their life, looking at all their blind spots, like, you're behind. I don't know what the hell you're doing, but you're behind. And funny enough, I stumbled along the way and kind of spiraled and got into this place where I almost knew too much. I was too much in this cyclical cycle of fixing, thinking so much about my past, thinking so much about my future. It started to absolutely cripple me. And I can now picture different moments in time of like, this was the beginning of the end of that version of me. It's really funny because I woke up this morning and I was thinking of this particular trip that I was on. And by the end of the trip, the feelings and the thoughts that I was having, like, I could pinpoint it. And the month that it was in of the year, I thought to myself, at that point, it just kind of started. And I had no idea what the hell was going on. I was like partying a lot and I didn't know what was going on. I just thought I felt a little bit off. And it came and went after that until it like came and stayed for quite a while. But that was the beginning of the end of that version of me. And I didn't even know it. I do not resonate with that girl at all. I love her and I wish I could go back and give her a hug. Like, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna feel better. You're gonna get through this and you're gonna do it your way. And it's gonna fucking suck for a while, but there is a lesson to come from all of this. And of course, when that started to happen, I leaned further into like fixing. I bought all these books. I went to nutrition. I went very extreme in different ways because I was approaching everything with very desperate energy to understand how I felt and why I felt the way I did. And I'm like, this is so unfair. I'm so self-aware. I've done so much work. I've done so much work that so many people I know have not done, that have no desire to do, nor will they probably ever do. Like, how is this the way that things are unfolding? There's a few things for this. The reason why I initially got into this world, the reason why I initially went and became a yoga teacher And that was very much linked to me like living abroad and traveling and pushing limits and creating this different reality that what I knew as normal back home. The reason for that is because how I am innately programmed, right? I am a high achiever, a go-getter. I think outside the box. I'm like a big visionary. I thrive in that. I thrive in that. I've always been like that since I was a kid. Everything I did was always like pushing limits and trying new things and seeing how I could be better at this and become this new version of myself, wear a bunch of different hats. I've always been quite type A to a degree, right? Like I want things to make sense. I'm a great student. I'm an awesome fucking student. Back to what I was saying at the beginning of this episode, give me a course, give me a checklist, give me something to do. I will crush it. And I love to learn. I love to learn. I love to make sense of the world. And my purpose here in this lifetime. All right, so I'm very unapologetically, abundantly ambitious. Cool, we got that sorted. But with that, I am a very empathic person. Absolutely. I feel as though I've been able to alter and really reel in and regulate my level of empathy. Okay. Because when I was younger, my friends could probably speak to this now if we're looking back, like as adults, but I would take on other people's problems like so heavily. If my friends were hurting, I would be hurting. Yes, to a degree, that is a good thing to have. I'm a human and I'm connected to them and I love them, but I'm talking like take on, like keep me up at night, asking others for help. How can I come in and fix? And that's sometimes not what they need and not what was needing to occur. And it was actually doing more harm than good for me. You know what I mean? I was taking on too much the weight of the world. I was always super sensitive and it used to drive me up the wall. Like, why does this bug me and not bug other people? Like, why did someone make this comment? And my one friend was able to laugh it up. And I'm like on the verge of tears and need to go to the bathroom because like water's filling in my eyes. It's annoying. Like, I don't want to care this much. Like, I care so deeply. Okay. So, because I am naturally like this, the abundantly ambitious and super sensitive gal, combine them together, of course, when I find this space of like wellness and self-development and leadership, that's like right up my alley. That is literally like candy to a baby. Of course, I fell into this space. I am meant to be here. I am meant to be here to my core. But because of the way I am, and I think the way a lot of people are when entering this space, it's like the pendulum has swung too far. They go so deep. And the one thing that is occurring is everything is about fixing absolutely everything. Relationships, mindset, body language, intimacy, trauma, like childhood trauma, like shadow work. Gosh, so much, so much. And again, time and a place. So if you feel like you are doing all the self-help, but you're getting nowhere, this is for you. This is who I'm talking to. But if you feel like you're working on yourself and you have very clear boundaries, you're doing one thing at a time, you're not meditating, doing visualizations, going to yoga, working with 5 different coaches, working on astrology, pulling your oracle cards, and like you don't even have time for your relationships or going out or having fun because you're so busy thinking about what it is that you need to be working on and what it is that you need to be fixing, that you live more in your head than you do actually live your life. If you are doing that, then this is who I'm speaking to. But if you're not doing that and you have, again, clear boundaries and you are doing one thing at a time and you're implementing and you feel yourself making those slow adjustments and you feel yourself becoming a better version of you, you're right where you're supposed to be. You're right where you're supposed to be. And I'm really excited about that. And that is where I want to get people. And when I'm thinking about this like micro mini nervous system reset course, like that is where I want to get people to realize that, but to actually give them the tangible tools and lessons that actually work, that are going to change you and change your life and change the trajectory of your life, because there's a lot of noise out there. It gets really difficult and really stuffy and it becomes overwhelming. So understanding that self-help efforts are to be constructive, right? Versus becoming a crutch and an avoidance mechanism and staying in this cycle of fixing. So signs that it's self-help. All right. So you want to think about like progress markers. So you feel motivated, you see actual tangible changes, you are improving your emotional regulation. You realize that you're responding differently to things. You're in alignment with your goals, right? So you're taking action that actually moves you closer to your vision of what it is that you want to achieve. That is creating amazing momentum in your life. That is a very good feeling. You are conducting this from a place of simplicity. And I've been talking a lot about simplicity. And when self-help feels natural and fits into your life, it's not running your life. It fits into your life. It just becomes your natural habits and way of being. That is when it works. That is how I feel like I conduct my life, where that's not how it was before. Oh my gosh, I've spoken about this and I got away with a lot of it because of COVID. But I used to have like a 2.5, sometimes 3 hour morning routine. Like, what the actual F was I even doing? I was writing, journaling. I was doing so many things. I wouldn't start my day till like 11:30. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And did it actually make me better in any way? I don't know. There are maybe some parts. I'm super disciplined. I was feeling fairly calm in those mornings, but like no, not really. Not really. In all transparency, I just want to be like really brutally honest. So the way you actually know that it's working is progress markers, alignment with your goals, and simplicity. Okay. So, signs when it's become self-sabotage. All right. Listen up. Consumption. Constantly consuming books, podcasts, or programs without action. So, one of the pillars in CMA, which is really great because it's my signature program. And I created this a few years ago and I actually just revised it in 2024. So it's got like a fresh new component to it, different lessons and things like that. But one of the pillars of that is implementation. Because we are in the golden era of information. Literally anything you want to learn is on the internet. It's available to you. But without implementation, you will not see change. You will not see change. So that's such a big component. So I need you to stop if you're feeling overwhelmed, stuck, you keep listening, all these things. And I get it. I honestly felt like I was an addict to self-development and learning, as bad as that sounds. But I would just listen and consume and read because that would give me some type of joy. It would give me almost the dopamine hit that I needed, but it just honestly overloaded my nervous system, overloaded my mind. It took me out of the present moment. It didn't allow me to operate in a way that really was actually serving me. Next is perfectionism trap. So feeling like you're never ready enough to start. Holy shit. Holy shit. This is so evident because it's like the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So when you start to realize that you're like, these people are doing this and they have this qualification, they've done this in their life, they have this experience to back them up, they're already in this situation. Who am I to do that? It holds you back from feeling you're ready enough. When really, when you are in a place that actually is supportive, self-help, I'm saying in quotation marks, self-improvement, things like that, it is encouraging you to take action. And that is another thing, another pillar within CMA, and honestly would be a pillar in this upcoming course, is taking action. Because I know through all of the things that I have done, all of the things that I have experienced, all the things that I've learned, the antidote to fear is action. The way you gain clarity is taking action. The way you make moves is by making moves, baby. The way you change things is by taking action. So when you are in this overconsumption loop and you're just telling yourself you're not ready, it's literally keeping you stuck. And the more stuck you are, the more stuck you become and the less action you take. So that is a problem. Next is over reliance on external validation. Chasing trends or advice that don't align with your values. All right. So I've always been a big advocate for like, you should not be asking people for advice unless they're living the life that you want to be living. Straight up. If I am not living a life, now I'm not talking about like hobbies and everything. Like you don't need to have to travel and want to travel like I do. If you are a parent and you're like, that does not work with my lifestyle right now, that's great. But as a general human being, my morals, my values, what are priorities to me? If they are not in alignment with you, you should be listening and looking to somebody else. Truly, I only look to people that I truly am like, you're living a life that I want to be living. I don't have to want to look like you or necessarily dress like you or things like that, but I could appreciate what it is that you're bringing to the table. I thought of this one time. I don't know. I've thought about this before when I was in working with my business mentor, and it was about talking about who like your ideal like marketing guru is. And I'm like, honestly, Kim Kardashian's pretty up there. Do I want to live like Kim Kardashian? No. Like if I had that opportunity, I really don't think I would take it. I don't want that limelight. I don't want everything to be so hyper fixated on my looks and the lack of privacy, all of those things. But I can appreciate how that girl has marketing on lock. She knows what she's doing. Kimmy K is a marketing guru with Skims, with how she's launched herself. Who cares that it was a sex tape? Not who cares, but like she spun that, of course, with the support of her famous great mother Chris. But I can really appreciate her marketing skills behind the scenes that people don't actually see. Like that shit doesn't just happen, okay? Campaigns don't just happen. Successful launches of new brands and new products and new stores, all of those things. So I can appreciate that for what it is. But if you are relying so much on other people's validation, especially when they are not living the life that you want to be living, example, a lot of like your probably close friends, unless you actually put yourself in the room with other like-minded people, which I have spoken about before and I go out of my way to do, because my closest, nearest and dearest people to me, we are not living the same life at all, but they're like my soulmates, ride or die. And our relationships and our love for each other go so much deeper than that. And we're extremely supportive of each other's visions and dreams and how we ultimately want our lives to unfold. But I'm not going to them and asking them, what are your thoughts on me launching a nervous system reset course? They're like, free, I don't fucking know. Like, what? Like, I have no idea. And that's okay. That is just being brutally honest. And I think people don't realize that. So they're trying to look for all this validation in all these areas that it's not going to come. And it doesn't matter because nobody is going to show up for you the way you show up for yourself. Nobody's going to know the deep rooted desire that what it is that you want other than you. Okay. So stop looking for other people to justify and validate your feelings, because oftentimes people don't show up until you're already doing the thing. And I don't want to say that's from a place of lack of love or non-support, but people don't understand, just like you don't understand necessarily how badly somebody else wants something. All right, so when you are relying on external validation too much, you are chasing trends or advice that do not align with your values. Very simple, very straightforward. Stop asking people for advice when they are not living the life that you want to live. So the 3 breakdowns of true self-help is, remember, progress markers, alignment with goals, and simplicity, where self-sabotage are overconsumption, perfectionism trap, and over-reliance on external validation. All right, so steps to actually shift from sabotage to true self-help, to get back to that main bucket that we initially talked about. So first, you're going to want to build habits, not overwhelm. So something that I have been really honing in on, something that I have really, I don't want to say quite mastered yet, but very much on my way there, is understanding that human beings are such habitual people. We are so habit behavior driven. So I want you to start small and pick one thing and start to actually implement, because we don't see change unless we actually implement it. And everything is a habit. The way you do everything in life is a habit. And the best thing is you can break habits and you can recreate habits. So understand that you want to actually build habits in building these ways of self-improvement and bettering yourself into your life as is, and releasing what no longer serves you versus making it like your entire identity. I also want you to focus on results. So how to measure your progress without obsessing. Really interesting and little fun fact is, of course, over the last year and a half, I was wanting to do all the things, right? I was wanting to track all my mood, the way I was feeling, my physical symptoms, all of these things, and work with 1,000,001 people, a naturopath, an acupuncturist, a period specialist, hormonal specialist, a doctor, whatever, like so many things. And it wasn't until I actually stopped doing all that and just allowed myself to be, kind of accepted my reality for what it is and understanding that it will change. This is not the norm, but it is a little bit of my norm right now. And one of those things that I wanted to do is I was going to get an Aura ring. Totally understand the obsession with the Aura ring. I will get one because I like them and I want one, but I actually put a pause on it, put a pin in it, because I'm like, this right now is just going to contribute to my obsessive habit of tracking everything. Very similar to an Apple Watch. I have an Apple Watch, but I have not been wearing it over the past year because all that was going to do was strengthen that habit that I was actually trying to break. So learn to measure your results without obsessing, and that's exactly what I've done. Lastly, and most importantly, literally the foundation of a lot of my teachings, the foundational pillar of CMA is trusting yourself, tuning into your intuition and what is actually helpful. Really decipher and understand the difference between intuition versus anxiety, how that truly feels to you. And I have an episode about this. If you go back, I believe it's literally how to identify intuition versus anxiety. I know I also have multiple content pieces on this. Trusting yourself is ultimately what is going to build confidence. And that in itself will just ripple out into other areas of your life. So I want you to really reflect on what's one thing you've been doing lately that feels more like sabotage than self-help. What is one thing? What's one thing you're doing and you're like, I'm not actually sure if this is really helping me become a better me. And I want you to DM me on Instagram at Brianne Burke, super simple, your thoughts on this specific episode. I feel like it's not quite controversial, but it is a little bit polarizing in the sense that I don't feel like a lot of people are talking about this right now, but I think I've been through it and I've seen it and I've been in this space a while where I feel like I'm really developing and secure and confident in my own opinions that are against the grain, that are not currently the norm. And that's what I appreciate. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on this episode and stay tuned about my upcoming mini course and seeing if we're going to bring that to fruition. Let me know your thoughts on it. I love you all so much. And until next week.